Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni of the Philadelphia Eagles both saying that A.J. Brown is an Eagle. They repeated it over and over and over again. But for how much longer? Do we think that A.J. Brown will eventually be on the move?
I think, Michelle, there's still a chance that they would move him if they get the right price. And I know that sounds like what we've been saying, for the past month or two, but I just think it's accurate. I think what's happened here is we've reached a point in the offseason where this has always been true, that it would be easier for them in terms of the salary cap if they wait till after June 1st to trade him, just because of their ability to defray the dead money hit. When you cut a guy and designate him a post-June 1st cut, you can get that savings, but you can't do the same thing with the trade. You actually have to wait till after June 1st to make the trade. So I think the Eagles got to a point where they weren't getting what they wanted for A.J. Brown, and unless somebody comes with that kind of price here between now and the draft, it probably makes more sense for them to wait till after June 1st. So I think these are conversations that likely pick up again after that time, unless somebody calls them in the next few weeks and offers them what they've been asking for.
Graz, whether it's around the draft or after June 1, who are the teams that we suspect will be in the mix for talking to the Philadelphia Eagles and trying to consummate an A.J. Brown trade?
I think that, Chris, the team we heard most strongly was the Patriots all along. They've expressed the most interest. They've tried to get it done right around free agency time, weren't able to come to an agreement, and that's the team I would watch. Obviously, it's possible as we get into the offseason after the draft, if teams are expecting to be able to address a wide receiver need in the draft and they don't get what they're hoping for, maybe other teams could jump in there. But New England's the one I'm watching most closely. I know the Rams played around with it, but it sounds like they're good to go with Devontae Adams as their number 2 with Puka Nacua now. So, there are other teams that have checked in, but New England's the one we heard the strongest.
Raj, you just brought up Puka Nacua. I know that there's been a lot of speculation around the Rams extending him this offseason. How do the latest allegations against Puka factor into the math when it comes to those contract negotiations?
Because the math is the question, right? Because we know what this costs now in the wake of the Jackson Smith and Jigba deal. So that's the kind of deal you're looking for if you're Puka Nacua at the top of the wide receiver market right now. So, obviously what's going on with him in terms of off-the-field stuff is, I don't get the sense that the Rams are like, we need to wait, but certainly there are optics around that situation that I think that have to be considered and addressed, and so I think that could be something that that they talk to Puka about before going forward with the deal. Not that I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression. Like, it's not like I don't think they're going to do a Puka Nacua deal, but certainly when you're committing that level of money and that making the level of commitment you're going to have to make in this deal. Some of the stuff that's gone on with Puka here the last couple months is stuff that you at least want to make sure is addressed first. So, I think it's conceivable that it could all slow things down.
We're speaking with Dan Graziano, our ESPN NFL insider, who's joining us from Phoenix. The NFL owner meeting's underway. And Graz, the Browns were looking to change the NFL rules. They wanted to allow teams to trade 5 years of future draft picks. And the team that is most known for them picks is the Rams. Let's stick with the Rams here for a second. But their head coach, Sean McVay, kind of threw cold water on that when asked about it this week. He laughed about the idea of the Browns pick trade rule change proposal. Why do you think that Sean McVay and others aren't for what the Browns are proposing?
I was standing there yesterday at Sean McVay's table at the NFC Coaches Breakfast when he was talking about that, and his explanation was basically they couldn't really convince anybody of the need to do it. I guess Sean was sitting there saying it's not like teams have been sitting around going, oh, we could get this deal done if only we could trade a draft pick 4 or 5 years out from now. So it just, they do it in other sports. I guess the NBA is sort of most prominent in terms of the future, that kind of distant future year pick. But I just feel like this is, I don't think the Browns were able to convince enough people of the reason to do it. And I think, if there's a situation where multiple teams have been trying to do deals the last couple of years, but, we wish we had more picks to trade you. But it just doesn't sound like that was the case. And sure enough, it sounds like the Browns have withdrawn that proposal.
talking to ESPN NFL insider and outsider Dan Graziano on Unsportsmanlike. And Graz, I wanted to ask you how would you characterize the negotiations between the NFL and the officials, the referees, and what would the likelihood be of us potentially seeing replacement refs in 2026?
Yeah, the league is certainly playing some hardball here. There's no question about it. Talking about hiring and training replacement officials and starting to do that as early as May 1st because they remember 2012 and how things went so badly, and they feel like part of the reason was they didn't have enough time to get the replacement officials ready. So you have an agreement now with the NFL Referees Association that expires May 31st. So you're 2 months out from that. The league is not happy with the way those negotiations are going. They want some changes to the rules regarding how officials are trained, how much time they spend in the offseason, how they're held accountable in terms of, the playoff assignments, things like that. So right now, it sounds really bad. And if the league is talking about training replacement officials as early as May 1st, a month from tomorrow, then it certainly seems like they're serious about moving forward with the replacement officials this time. Now, the question, of course, is it saber rattling? Is it playing hardball? Is it real? I think we can believe it's real. The question is, what does the NFL Referees Association, what do the officials do about it? Do they, is it something that prompts them to come to the table and negotiate on a level that they haven't yet? With 2 months left in the agreement, I would say that the official side thinks there's probably time, but the league is sending out strong signals that they disagree and that this thing needs to get wrapped up pretty quickly. So I guess owners will wrap up here today. I think if you don't see news on progress in this in the next couple of weeks, I think you can start to imagine that they'll get the replacement officials ready and continue to dig in.
Graz, another thing that we're seeing really being pushed for out of the NFL owners meeting is an 18-game regular season. You're seeing a lot of commentary from owners who are in favor of this. Are you sensing any resistance to this at all, or is this something that fans should expect to happen?
I think the league and the owners believe it'll happen at some point. Now, they have to negotiate it with the players. The current CBA with the Players Association runs through 2030 and has a clause that specifically prohibits any further expansion of the regular season. So you'd have to redo the CBA, or you'd have to wait till 2031 to put this in and make it a part of the new CBA. The union just elected a new executive director, which is J.C. Tretter, who was the president of the union for a while, former Browns center. So they're still getting their feet under them in terms of who's going to run this coming negotiation. And with there's opt-outs in the TV deals in the next couple of years. I think the league is reassessing a lot of things. I think they'd be open to the idea of reopening the CBA and talking to the players about an 18th game. What we don't know yet, although J.C. Tretter has in the past spoken out against an 8-game season, what we don't know yet is what the appetite for the Players Association is for in terms of doing that, or does it wait till the next CBA negotiation? We're heading into the 26th season, 5 years left on the current deal. So if it's going to happen anytime soon, it probably requires a very early renegotiation of the CBA. If you're the players, Michelle, you kind of sit there and go, all right, well, we don't want to do this, but what are you guys talking about? Everything's got a price, right? So, right. Are we talking about, adding to our percentage of the revenue? Are there other material changes, financial changes we can make that would justify us adding an 18th game? Those are the conversations that they really haven't gotten very far down the road, I think, in large part because of all the upheaval over the last year with the leadership at the Players Union.
Graz, a week ago, the Florida State Attorney General issued an ultimatum to the league around its Rooney Rule requirement. We heard from Art Rooney II, whose father was the namesake of the rule, and there seems to be a softening of the stance, saying, quote, they have to consider the environment that we're in now. How is the NFL navigating political pressure when it comes to the Rooney Rule?
That's a big discussion here. We'll hear from Roger Goodell and others today as the meetings start to wrap up. Basically, the NFL would like to continue doing, and again, we're coming out of a coaching cycle where the Rooney Rule didn't have a great time, given the results. But I think the NFL would like to continue to find ways to improve the diversity